Hello, everybody. How are you today? I hope you're having a great week. Welcome to the MudRoom, our weekly free and live Uncommon Sense parenting class. How are you today? Local to me, we're finally out of deep lockdown, and it is a bright, sunny day, so I am so stoked. After this, I actually have my first chance to go and do some, personal maintenance since about this time last year. So I'm very excited because I'm going to get my toes pretty and I'm going to fix up my fingers because we're starting to look just a little bit like our hands got stuck in a meat grinder, Things are looking a little rough. I know everyone's still in various stages of lockdown and quarantine and normal life, so I hope wherever you are locally that you're able to embrace the positives and ride out the negatives and, just hang in there as we go into a year of this. This time last year, I was on a plane to Mexico. And then the world shut down. Literally, I got off the plane back in Canada on Tuesday, and everything kind of hit the fan that Friday. So, we've come full circle. All right, before we jump into our topic today, just let me introduce myself for those of you who are new here. Hi, my name is Allana Robinson, and I'm a parenting coach for parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners. I help you understand why your children are misbehaving and how to fix it without yelling, shaming, or timeouts. I'm your host here on the MudRoom. I'm also the host of the Parenting Posse Facebook group, and I'm the creator and facilitator of the Parentability program, where I help you raise well-behaved kids of your own. If you're watching, please say hi. If you're catching a replay, hit me with replay in the comments. And no matter where you're seeing this, if you would do me a solid and like and subscribe so that you never miss another class, that would totally make my day. Alrighty, say hi, people. I can see you. All right, today I'd like to talk about the concept of they're going to grow out of it. Often when I'm discussing a child's behavior with their parents, we'll go through and I'll detail all the different ways that we can support their child and find solutions to the problems that are plaguing their family. And almost without fail, a parent is going to ask me, what if we just do nothing? Are they going to grow out of it eventually? So let's talk about what growing out of it actually means, what it looks like, and how you can determine if your child is likely to grow out of a challenging behavior or not. Hey Daniela! Hey Mary! Yay! Okay, Mary says she's doing 80 to 90% well with that. So happy for you. That is a win. Alrighty, first things first. What does growing out of it mean? Well, when we talk about a child growing out of a behavior, we're referring to the fact that as children get older and mature, they go through several sensitive periods of development that alter how they learn and how they understand the world in general. Between the ages of 2 and 6, there are literally hundreds of these developmental leaps. Hundreds of them. You hear me talking a lot about the limbic leap because it's probably what, at least in my experience, is the most disruptive and predictable one that falls within the age range that I teach about. And because these developmental leaps alter how our kids understand the world, often they bring with them a lot of boundary pushing and new challenging behaviors. Or often they're actually old challenging behaviors with a new spin on them because your child is now aware of more possibilities. They had exhausted all their perceived avenues from their 3-year-old perspective. But now that they're 4, they can think of different angles to work and explore and see if they can reach their goal, whatever that might be. So when we talk about a child growing out of it, what we're hoping is that when they go through one of these developmental leaps, they'll become more aware of the people around them, how their behavior impacts those people, and what our cultural, social norms are, and ideally, just stop having the problem they were trying to solve, or figure it out on their own. Stop having these needs that they were expressing, that they'll figure it out all on their own so we don't have to worry about it. In other words, Is this problem just going to solve itself if I wait it out? But here's what really happens when we wait for a child to grow out of their problems. They become internalized. They don't disappear. The child that begins to believe that this problem is all they have, this need that they have, that they don't know how to solve, is a part of them. It's something inherent to their personality and their being, and the reason that nobody is helping them solve it is because it's just unsolvable. And it's exclusive to them. They are the only person to ever have this need, and since it's unsolvable, that means that they're weird. It means that they're unlovable. It means that they are stuck with this unfulfilled need, and nobody's ever going to understand it. That makes them feel lonely, depressed, angry, any number of emotions. So now this problem, this need, has now become their identity. When children form their identity, they're looking for things that make them unique, that make them stand out from the pack of everybody else. And if the one thing that everybody notices about them that makes them different from everybody else is that they have more unsolved problems than everyone else, cool. I'll be the problem child. I'll be the boundary pusher. I'll be the violent kid. I'll be the crier or the biter. I'll be the one who swears. This isn't new. We have entire Hollywood movies where the entire premise of the plot is the problem kid discovering that their problems are actually solvable and that what makes them unique is not their temper or their lack of social skills or their high emotions or their lack of give a damn, but actually some talent that they haven't been paying attention to because the only thing anyone has ever given them attention for is their problems. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Behavior is communication. It's a language. It means something. So waiting for our kids to grow out of disruptive behavior, and that is interfering with their ability to engage as an active participant in their life, is like gagging them. It's like if you were in a foreign country and you got severely injured, but when you get to the hospital, they can't understand you. So instead of examining you to find out what the problem is, they just send you to a room on the other side of the building to slowly die. When it comes to behavior, it's not a bullet or internal bleeding that's causing the problem. It's a lack of information or a lack of skill. And both of those things are entirely fixable. We just have to prioritize getting the exam so that we can figure out what the problem is and start coming up with a treatment plan. So, do I actually think it's possible to grow out of behavior? No, I don't. I believe, and I have seen over and over and over again, how problems compound as children get older when they aren't addressed in the early years. Early intervention is crucial because as we get older, our brain starts to solidify. It becomes less plastic. It very slowly becomes less and less adaptable. So what started as the poor choice of an unskilled 3-year-old can very, very easily grow and mutate and become the only perceived option for a teenager or an adult. Habits only get harder to break as we get older, which is why when I hear a parent saying that they're going to wait it out, what I hear is, we're going to wait until this comes to a boiling point before we address it. And that's a false economy. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to solve the problem. The longer the solution will take to work once you do find a solution. Does that mean it's impossible to do? No. There is always the ability to remediate, but it is so much harder to remediate. I'll pull out that good old Frederick Douglass quote of, "It's easier to raise strong children than repair broken men." So what can you do if you've been waiting it out and you're realizing that this isn't going away, this isn't going to resolve on its own, and I need to figure it out, preferably as soon as possible? 3 things. The first thing to do is to go apologize to your kid. Now, I know this is going to get a lot of people's backs up, and they're going to go, hey, Why am I apologizing? They are the one acting out. Shouldn't they be apologizing to me? Well, no. They're a child. They've been telling you something is wrong this whole time. And you've basically been ignoring it until presumably now. So I recommend going to them at a neutral moment. Don't be doing this when they're upset or tired or hungry or when they're happy and engaged in something else. At a neutral moment, sit them down, tell them you're sorry. You know that they're having a hard time and that they didn't know how to fix it. You're sorry you didn't recognize it sooner, but you know now, and you're going to start helping them figure it out. That's it. Just tell them that you're going to start helping them figure it out because you love them. Now, this may or may not get you a positive response. Some kids are going to have a tough time trusting you. And as much as that hurts, they do not owe us their trust. So step 2 is to take action on that. You're going to come and join the parenting posse if you aren't already a member. And when you join, you're going to pop your email address in, and that's going to get you a welcome packet. And that welcome packet will also have access to my scripts for managing crazy-making behavior. So you can log in, you can check them out, you can start using them right away. And when you're ready, I want you to scroll all the way down to the bottom of that page with the scripts. And you're going to click on the big orange button that says Your Next Step, Free Class for Parents. And you're going to register there. Okay? 3 things. Whether you decide to continue this journey with me or not, those 3 things will get you started off in the right direction. And because I know moms, that if you are having a realization, that will usually come with a healthy side dish of guilt. So stop, okay? To quote yet another very, very smart Black person, Maya Angelou, we do the best we can until we know better, and then we do better. Do not beat yourself up for something that you did not know before you learned it. What's done is done. Focus on moving forward, on solving the problem, on identifying the problems. You're going to need all of your energy for that. So don't waste it on guilt, okay? The goal of Uncommon Sense Parenting is to use the energy we've got in the steps that are going to make the most impact the fastest. We want to be efficient. I used to call myself a parenting effectiveness coach, specifically for that reason, but it was confusing, so I dropped it. But that's my whole deal, okay? Using what we've got in the best way possible to make our next best step. So those 3 things are your next best step. Alrighty. Hey, Sophie! Sophie says she was really hoping for the sensory phase of changing his clothes a bazillion times to just go away on its own. I know. But you know what? The great thing, Sophie, is that you are trying to figure it out, right? You're not just sitting still and hoping that it just kind of blows over. If it does blow over, it's going to be because you actually addressed the problem. And as his developmental leaps has gone through his developmental leaps, that's what I'm trying to say, that foundation that you've built for him, he's going to actually be able to use it. That's how he's going to solve the problem, because he's not just out at sea with no skills. He's just going to learn how to better engage them. Mary says we are almost completely done with hitting. Yeah. Yes. She did it today for the first time in a couple of weeks. She only hit Daddy once and stopped immediately. Our biggest problem at this point is getting her to go potty quickly at night instead of taking her time to stay up longer. Any advice? I don't know if it's allowed to ask a question, right? Yes, absolutely ask a question. Alrighty, so the thing about nighttime toilet training is that at first it's developmental. Like if she's getting up to go to the bathroom, that is your biggest hurdle. The second is getting her to go back to bed. And so for that, I really just recommend making nighttime as concrete as possible, which sounds weird because for us, nighttime is concrete because the sun goes down. For our kids, that's not always the cue that they're picking up on because often, especially in the summer, they tend to go to bed when it's still light out. And often they wake up and it's like 6 a.m. and it's still dark. When I lived in Edmonton, I left the house at 9 a.m. in the pitch black and I came back at 4 p.m. in the pitch black. So there are lots of places where the sun rising and falling is just not a reliable cue. So to make that nighttime really concrete, I really recommend getting a toddler clock or a smart night light or a smart bulb and set it up so that between the hours of like 8 p.m. and 7 a.m. it's red. Red means stop, which makes natural sense to kids, but also red is a tone that's not going to mess with their melatonin production. So it's okay if it's on all night because that red hue isn't going to mess with them falling asleep, their sleep hormones. So give her a cue like the light being red or her toddler clock having the sun down or whatever device you decide to use. I really, really like the Amazon Echo Flex because it's got the night light that sticks on the bottom and we can also play music through it. But even just a smart light bulb, put it in an existing fixture and you're good to go. And, explain it to her. Hey, when the light is red, it means it's time to sleep. When the light is green or yellow or whatever color you want to use, that means it's time to get up. So if you get up to go pee at night, that's fine, but you have to go right back to bed because the light is still red. And that makes it very, very concrete for them. It makes it very easy. The first couple of nights are usually kind of rough because they're like, how solid is this? But once they get the hang of it, they usually pick it up very quickly and it usually solves the problem of, is it time to wake up? Can I just stay awake or not? Yay, that's awesome that she's fully potty trained. That's like the last big hurdle I find out of toddlerhood and into preschoolhood is getting that toileting down. That's amazing. So try that out. Come back and let me know how it goes, okay? Alrighty. Thank you so much for being here with me, guys. I love when I get to chat with you. I will see you next week for another Uncommon Sense parenting class. I'm going to go get a mani-pedi. Have a great week. Bye.